Shalom. Today we're talking about Parsha Re'ah, the sea Parsha. And it says, Re'ah Anoki Notain Lefanekum Hayom Barka Uklala. That is, see, today I have set before you blessings and cursings. We learn that HaShem in Deuteronomy has made us people of choice. He wants us to be people who will choose to serve Him and not people who are just robots. He could have created robots if He had wanted to, but He would rather have people that want to serve Him and want to choose life over death and rebellion. And He goes on to say that if we will do all that's in His Torah, then we will have a long, blessed life. But if we do not, then we will have a short, cursed life. And when Joshua and the children of Israel crossed into the Promised Land, HaShem had Joshua to send men up to the top of Mount Gerizim and to the top of Mount Ebal. And he said, have the men on top of Gerizim yell out, these are the blessings, and the men on top of Ebal to yell out, these are the cursings. And they did that as the people walked between the two hills, signifying that they had a choice, that He wanted them to choose, and even told them afterward to choose life. He wants us to be people of choice. This was a sort of a covenant, like the one with Avraham. Remember when HaShem Baruch made the covenant with Abraham, He had him to cut up animal parts, and then Abraham walked between the parts. Just like the people here were walking between the two hills, signifying that this is a contract of choice. And being human beings, we don't always like choice. Choice is a difficult thing because it causes us to think and to consider the pros and cons of something. I often tell about the story of going to Walmart looking for a stick of deodorant. As I went up to the counter with the deodorants, which was probably 150 feet long with hundreds of different kinds of deodorants on it, there was a middle-aged man standing there, and he was just contemplating. And I waited and watched, and he just stood there looking at all these different kinds and prices of deodorants. And finally, after maybe 5 minutes, he picked one and he left. And then this young man rushed up, and he was scanning the aisle back and forth, up and down. And then he finally stopped and scratched his head and walked off. And then it was my turn. And now it was time for me to walk up there and to try to decide what kind of deodorant I wanted and what I wanted to pay for it. Hundreds of different kinds. Solids, sprays, roll-ons, anywhere from $1 to $10 per stick. And it took me a while. And as I was contemplating these deodorants, I thought, we have to make too many choices. We just have to make too many choices. And we have to live according to those choices. Now, when I was in the Marine Corps, we didn't have to worry about choices so much because they were made for us. And it was emotionally a very easy life because we didn't have to think a lot. We had others that did that for us. But in this life that HaShem has given us, we have to think. And every decision that we make has either a positive or a negative outcome. And we have to consider what that outcome will be and if we will be able to live by that outcome. Some people aren't capable of doing that, and they flip out. But it's just a natural part of the life HaShem has given us. He wants us to be people of choice. And He wants us to choose the good over the bad. Many times the bad is a lot more fun, but the good will bring us the benefit of a long and happy life. And we know that that is in Torah. And if we will read Torah, study Torah, and live by Torah, we will have a long and happy life. But if we choose not to, then we have to accept the outcome of that decision, which is punishment. And though it may seem that evildoers get by with a whole lot in this life, eventually they'll have to answer for what they're doing. We see that today in politics. There are many times that decisions are made that we know are bad decisions by the people that we have elected to office. And all of us will have to live according to those decisions that are made by others in that instance, and not ourselves. But it was our decision to elect them. And so it is with our life with HaShem Baruch Hu. We have to learn what is the good choice and what is the bad choice. It's written down for us, at least most of it is in the Torah. There are things that we have today that are not in Torah. But if we'll listen to wise counsel, we will even see that we have help making decisions on those things. And by being able to be people making choices, we become greater than the animals. The animals go by instinct. We find that a lot of times in people too. But basically animals go by instinct. And we are a higher element than the animals because we have the ability to reason and to make choices based upon that reasoning. And our choices are what we have to live by. If we make good choices, we benefit. If we make bad choices, we suffer. But the decision is ours. And it's always a good idea to find a way to make informed decisions about what we do, so that at least going into a decision we'll have some idea of what the outcome will be, whether it will be good or whether it will be bad. And it's according to those reasonings that we make those choices. And HaShem has given us His Torah to show us the way to make those choices. And He's given us wise teachers in order to show us how to make good choices, so that our life will be prosperous and not evil. So today I would encourage you, study Torah, study the sages, study wise teachers, not so that you'll have to perform what they tell you to like a robot, but so that you will have decision-making material in your head, so that when the time comes and you have to make a decision, you'll be able to draw from something. I have a best friend that is constantly seeking out advice on different things, because when he makes a decision, he wants it to be a good one. And there's an old saying that is, if you want to be a success, find someone who is successful and then copy what they did. We know Yeshua was very successful. And so if we will copy ourselves after him, we can't help but win and live a long and prosperous life. So I would encourage you today to study all you can, to show yourself approved, and to have the material in order to make those wise decisions that HaShem has given us the ability as human beings to make. Yom Nifla, have a wonderful day. Shalom.